Is the Raw main event scene better than the SmackDown main event scene? I think so. Hey guys, welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast, where today we are going to review Monday Night Raw that happened last night, August the 25th. Well, technically in the afternoon if you're on the East Coast because it was in the UK. But regardless, let's break it down. I am Mike with 716 Sports Entertainment, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill. And Sean, I wanted to take you through something that I thought about while I was away, when you guys held down the fort for me for the last couple of weeks here. So, the Raw main event and the SmackDown main event. Right now, you've got Cody at the top and you've got Seth Rollins as your two top title holders. And it seems like it's going to be Cody and Drew, but Cody's obviously off playing Colonel Guile right now. So the Raw title has a lot of stuff going on around it, right? You've got this fatal four-way, you've got the stuff between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, you've got the eventual match between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins that's going to happen. You've got all this fun stuff with, Jey Uso showing a darker side of his character like he did last night, LA Knight showing a darker side of his character like he did last night. And I mean, obviously, we have to get another blow off match between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. And then also all of the stuff that may eventually go on with Braun Breaker as well, where he might be, involved in that mix. So I just feel like looking at it and looking at the lay of the land, the Raw title scene is so much better than the SmackDown title scene. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. The Raw title scene has 6 months worth of stories basically already laid out just because they have so many contenders and people who can lay claim to that contendership. Going back to even before Seth won the title, and that's not even taking into account when Gunther comes back. I mean, we
Mhm.
still have Gunther waiting in the wings, who technically probably deserves a rematch against somebody, even though he was beaten by Punk to lose it right away. I think that I don't know. I think there's benefits to both ways of storytelling, though. I think that SmackDown having the focus be on Cody and Drew allows them to focus more like directly on that. Whereas with Raw currently, you have so many, like with this Fatal Four Way. While you were gone, T and I were talking about it. The last couple weeks, every opening segment felt like it was the exact same segment. You know what I mean? Like what Seth and the Vision came out, talked their trash about being the best, and were interrupted by one of the faces. So I think that the darker side being shown by both Knight and Jay is, I mean, if we can call what Jay did a darker side, he was kind of just taking Roman's advice. But I think that that definitely brings a little bit extra to it. So I definitely liked seeing that part of things. And especially, and now with Roman back, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually looking forward to this Roman and Bronson Reed match.
Yeah, I agree. And I was just thinking about Gunther as you said that. And now it really makes me wonder like a couple of things. I think Gunther's going to go over to SmackDown.
We've talked about that.
I think like once Cody is done with Drew, because I don't think Drew is going to beat Cody. As great as that would be, I don't think Drew's going to beat Cody. But I'm sure they'll have a fun series of matches, and Drew will get some kind of like win that won't get him the title or some kind of nonsense, so they can have a trilogy of matches. But the more I look at the lay of the land, unless we go the Cody Randy route, I think it's going to be Cody and Gunther at some big show.
I agree. I don't think it is time for Cody Randy quite yet,
No.
especially with them still being as popular as they are, both as baby faces. I do think that with Gunther will definitely end up on SmackDown. I don't know if you heard the rumors and the talk that the WWE draft this year might actually be conducted on ESPN and commented on by actual draft people,
Oh,
which
jeez.
I think would be kind of cool to see as like a one-off. I wouldn't want to see it become like a yearly thing, but I think as like a one-off to celebrate the ESPN deal, I think that could be for a fun time. And I could see obviously that the champions would stay on their shows. I could see Gunther being like SmackDown's top pick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And I think like that gives him something to do because like right now he really feels like even though he was just the most recent champion, technically, he is like completely out of the title picture right now. Like it seems like he's like, I don't know, seventh in the pecking order right now for
Yep.
that title. I mean, obviously Seth is your main guy. Then you've got all three of these guys in the Fatal Four Way this weekend, and then you've got obviously Roman, being a fifth. And then I think honestly, I'm still of the mind that if CM Punk is not the one to take this title off of Seth Rollins, it's Braun Breaker. So, like, I think you've got six guys lined up right now in this main event scene on Raw, which is awesome. I
Oh
think
yeah.
moving LA Knight to Raw was a good idea.
It gave him the necessary character refresh that he needed. And don't forget, real quick, on the SmackDown side too, that there's also the potential feud with Sami Zayn for Cody as well. Now that Sammy's a member of SmackDown, at some point.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I know your feelings on Sami Zayn, and like honestly, I have no interest in a Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes feud. You're right, it will probably happen, but man, I don't care about that at all.
I'm right there with you. You know my thoughts. But I think I do still think that it's going to be Punk that takes the title off of Rollins. I wouldn't be surprised if it is due to Braun turning on him, and then you at some point see Braun take the title off of Punk.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm starting to think like the Royal Rumble might be too soon to do this because this group kind of just formed. But I don't know. I love the idea of Braun Breaker winning the Royal Rumble. That seems so fun to me.
I'm just I'm real worried about the rumors that it's Sammy currently penciled in to win the Rumble.
It seems so awful. That
It
seems
really
like
does because
that
all it
seems so
means is that
boring.
we'll get the exact same story that we get out of Sami Zayn of the underdog overcoming all the odds.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't love that.
Nope. Which is what we had this year with Jay. Like, do
Yeah,
we really need to tell that same story again?
yeah, no, I really I don't need to see that again. But the main show proper opened up with Roman Reigns. Opened the show by addressing the crowd in England who, man, they were in a frenzy. It was a lot of fun. Ones to the skies, and we started going on about how he wasn't the same guy anymore, and maybe that there was something that he could try to draw out of himself a little bit. And then he mentioned that, Cody had predicted this a year and a half ago that someone would come along and take everything. And the crowd, they didn't boo, but they like made a noise when he said something about Cody. And he was kind of like, oh, that's interesting, under his breath, which was interesting to say. And then right after that, he had made mention of Seth Rollins and his, he kind of made fun of the fact that they're called the Vision. And then the crowd started chanting F you Rollins, which he was
Yep.
like, yeah, I get that. Which was I'm just it's amazing to me how much I love Roman Reigns right now because God, I hated his guts 5 years ago, but now I think he's the absolute best. So he acknowledged that the bloodline is no longer behind him, but the crowd was quick to remind him about Jey Uso and obviously their match at SummerSlam. And he did the yeet thing, and then this brought out Big Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman, who Roman just kind of like basically was like, I didn't know that you were Samoan, so that means I own you. And this obviously led to just a crazy brawl between the two of them. And surprisingly, Bronson Reed held his own on the microphone a little bit against Roman Reigns. He didn't say much. Obviously, this was Paul Heyman's time to shine, like it always is. But then, this led to a massive brawl in the ring, which the officials struggled to break up, but the it was broken up by the commercial break, just amazingly. So, what were your
It's
thoughts on the opening of the show?
so that's the nice part about me paying a little bit more for the Netflix is that it wasn't broken up by the commercial break for me. And it was actually a really fun brawl. The back and forth that they kept going into. Um, I will say I absolutely love the growth out of Bronson Reed and the fact that he is so much better, not just in the ring, but on the mic than he was, not just before they let him go the first time, but then when he was facing like Braun Strowman. He has improved by leaps and bounds. And like I said, I'm actually excited for their match in Paris. And I know it won't happen because obviously Reigns isn't going to lose his match back, but I would love to see Bronson go over. Like, you want to keep pushing the vision as this end all be all should be running Raw. The smart play is to have him beat Roman, but that's not going to happen. So, as far as the opening segment goes, you always like to talk about how the out of the US crowds are, and this once again proved that point. Like, this crowd was on fire from the second Roman's music hit. And to the point you made about them sort of quasi booing Cody, if it's anyone besides Roman saying that, I don't think he gets booed.
Probably true.
But I love the opening segment and I love the brawl, and I thought it was a great way to open the show.
Yeah, it's just so interesting. Like I'm really wondering, like it seems so inevitable, right, that we're gonna get another match between Roman and Seth, like a singles match. But is that what we're doing with Roman Reigns for the next 8 months? We're just building to that? Like
I think
that's
so.
yeah.
He's going
Is
to
that
fight his way. He's
is
going to
that
fight his way
WrestleMania?
through Bronson. I don't know if it'll be Mania, maybe Royal Rumble, but I think he fights his way through Bronson. He fights his right way through Braun, and then he fights his way through whoever the fourth man is that I think we're going to see sooner rather than later, and eventually then gets his way to Seth.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I don't know. I wonder like I just wonder where we're gonna go with Roman with all of this because like you don't have a lot of time left with Roman Reigns, and he's such a big star. Part of me wonders, are we just gonna do Roman Cody 3? Like I kind of
No,
feel like I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so. Keep in mind too that Roman at some point here is going to be going away for a little while to go film his role as Akuma.
Yeah.
He wasn't gone long enough after SummerSlam for that to have been completed yet. So I fully expect Roman to be gone for a month and a half at some point coming up.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. So the first match of the night saw Dragon Lee take on JD McDonough of the Judgment Day, accompanied by Finn Balor, his tag team partner, to the ring. And this was kind of a night-long sort of story throughout the show with the Judgment Day and Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles and all of the interference that kind of happened throughout the match. But this was a fun match between two guys who are, they're good wrestlers. And surprisingly, Dragon Lee got the win after Dominic Mysterio interfered. He was obviously quickly dispatched by AJ Styles after he kind of tried to trip Dragon Lee. But yeah, Dragon Lee got the win over JD McDonough. It looked good. It was a good match. Um, I mean, nothing spectacular, but I mean, JD McDonough took a really nasty bump
Yeah.
from a power bomb off the rope there. But this was fine. And I mean, I guess it was just kind of the night long story with the Judgment Day. I really feel like we gotta do something with this here. Like you had an opportunity to maybe put that Dominic AJ with the women's title match being off of the card this weekend. Maybe you had an opportunity instead of making it next week to have Dominic and AJ be on the card this weekend. But I don't know. What are your thoughts about the whole situation?
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do Dominic and AJ on the show. That I think that would have been a good fill-in. But part of me also wonders if the Intercontinental match that they added is wasn't originally planned for the Paris show, and that might be since it's a women's match to fill that in. But I think my bigger shock out of this entire first match is how the hell did Dragon Lee manage to win a match? I mean, while you were gone, both Raw shows, T and I talked about it, of who did Dragon Lee piss off that he hadn't won a match in like a year, something goofy like that. The guy had just never wins. And all of a sudden he picks up a big win. And the spot with JD McDonough, I think it's a little bit on both of them. I don't think that Dragon Lee quite got him high enough up for the power bomb. and I don't think McDonough positioned his head quite correctly. And when you have a head the size of JD McDonough's, it's got to be kind of difficult. But shout out to Michael Cole and his fascination with JD McDonough's head size. But um, I think that, like you said, the bigger overall story here is not just the Intercontinental and the stuff going on with AJ, but the Judgment Day as a whole and the dissension that you're starting to see again with like Dom talking to El Grande and Finn questioning what's going on, and then Finn telling or Dominic telling Finn what to do. I think that the second Liv comes back, that we start to see the breakup stuff of the Judgment Day again. I think that's why that storyline kind of got put on pause, was because Liv got hurt. But I think the second she comes back, which I think is going to be sooner rather than later, you're going to see that storyline start to pick up the pace again.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, starting to think about like the way these different stories are kind of like interweaving. Um, it doesn't, none of this stuff makes sense really for the men's War Games match that's coming up in a few months. And I have my own theories on where they're going to go with the women's one. I kind of think it's going to be a combination of Rhea, Io, and versus the Asian wrestlers. And there's going to kind of be a thing in there with Bailey and Lyra and all of that. I kind of think that's the direction they're going to go with that, but I'm ready to be proven wrong there. But yeah, it's certainly interesting, and it's mid-card filler stuff, right? And we need to get that title needs to come off of Dominic.
Yep.
It needs to come off of Dominic, and we're kind of I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but circa 2017, we got a match between Finn Balor and AJ Styles just randomly on the show with the second last match of the show. And like they got like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and like AJ just won clean. And like it kind of sucked. And like I was super disappointed in it. I know I'm jumping like way ahead in the show, but like this was kind of like the whole narrative throughout the whole night. Like, Dom was, like you said, Dom was pissing and moaning about AJ Styles, which led to them, he's going to have an intercontinental title match against AJ next week. He told Finn to go out and, take care of AJ, and then AJ just beat him.
I think that's the point, though, is that they want to show AJ blowing through people to get to Dom. I do think that AJ wins the belt off of Dom because I think Dom's going to win the AAA title at Worlds Collide. I think he's going to beat Vikingo.
This is his third attempt at it.
Yeah, I think he beats Vikingo, wins that title, and I don't think he's a double champ. So I think that he drops the Intercontinental to AJ. And I mean, the match itself between AJ and Finn was fine. The problem is that the two of them, we've seen them put on a pay-per-view, basically steal the show match. And when you're only going to give them 7 to 8 minutes, there's only so much time for them to do stuff. You know what I mean? And if you're going to have these two athletes of the caliber of those two guys, you need to give them 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. Rushing that kind of match is what hurt it.
And can I just say, like, I don't know what Finn Balor is doing to make his abs look the way that he does, but holy God, that man, like, there's like, that is a different level of sculpted. Like, holy smoke. He was like hanging off the side of the ring, like doing that point thing that he does. He had like 47 abs.
I believe that's called the luck of the Irish.
I was like, I was watching it with my wife last night, and she was like, wow, that guy's ripped.
Yeah, Finn has always been built. It's crazy the amount. And isn't he vegan too?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, he kind of looks it like he has that look though. Like he's not like one of those, he's not like because Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker is jacked, right? But
Yeah.
he's big. That's I'm not going to get too into it here, but like that's animal protein. Like,
Yeah.
Versus like Finn Balor is slim, but he's jacked.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, it's also body makeup and different things like that too, but I believe you're right. I think I'm almost certain he's vegan.
Braun Breaker probably eats like 17 steaks.
Yeah. So this took us to, frankly, the worst thing going on Monday Night Raw, the biggest travesty on Monday Night Raw, and that is how they're handling Penta. And it is so ridiculous. The New Day had perhaps one of the best heel turns of the last 12 months when they had that in-ring segment with Big E
Yep.
and they heel, and that was fantastic. And we were all like, holy crap, like that was amazing. So Penta finds himself in the ring with Kofi Kingston, and Penta's got one of the most recognizable entrances in WWE right now, and he hasn't even been in the company that long, and it's awesome, right? And he had a relatively nothing match with Kofi Kingston. And there's obviously the interference because he's just in a never-ending feud with the New Day right now. So with a little help from Grayson Waller, Kofi Kingston hits the Trouble in Paradise to get the win over Penta. And this is a never-ending feud, it seems, and frankly, I thought it was stupid.
So I have a counter argument because you haven't been here. So
Okay.
T and I were talking about it, and we both are of the consensus that considering as the New Day is a group of three people with Grayson Waller, this is leading to them bringing Phoenix and Andrade over to team with Penta. And we're going to see a grouping of the three luchadors taking on the New Day and Big G, which the sooner that happens, the better, because I don't think I get why they had Penta lose, because obviously he can't beat all three of them to continue the feud. He has to lose at least one of the matches. But I think the only way they salvage this is by bringing Phoenix and Andrade over. That's a feud I can get behind.
Yeah, I mean, we eventually have to get to those two guys being paired together, but I mean, this is so boring. I mean, Penta's such a great wrestler and he's so fun to watch, but this is just so boring. Like he should be in that ice, and hopefully when AJ wins it, if AJ wins it, Penta gets himself right back into that IC title program. Because I frankly think that's where it belongs. And those are the kind of people I want to see in matches for that IC title. But man, oh man, oh man, it's just stupid. I don't care for it at all.
I just thinking about Penta, I think about what a missed opportunity it's going to be down the road that he'll never be a actual WWE full on champion. I think back to some of the work he's done previously with other companies and how fun it was with him as a champion. And I don't think WWE would ever put the major title on him. So hopefully putting the Intercontinental or one of those titles on him is will be just as fun.
So this led us to Becky Lynch coming down to the ring for a promo and immediately started trash talking the city of Birmingham and making fun of the fact that Ozzy Osbourne was from there and that he left to go to Los Angeles. She was quickly interrupted by Nikki Bella. And while I think that this segment went on a little long, um, because they're obviously going to have a match for the IC title, the women's IC title, at the Paris show, which I expect Becky to retain. Stay tuned for our predictions later this week. But with that being said, I gotta say, I don't like Becky's new music, but I am loving the evolution of her character and how she gets so like she's so short fused and she gets so flung off that she never used to be like that. She used to just take the jabs and kind of go with it. And this is her evolving her character a little bit where she gets so rattled because Nikki called her Charlotte's sidekick or whatever. And you could tell she was shaking. She was doing it on purpose to get so rattled. And I'm impressed with this. And I wanted to message you guys last night in our group chat just to be I wouldn't hate it if Nikki Bella won. I don't think it's
So
going to happen, but I wouldn't hate it.
so you talk of evolution and you're going to think I'm crazy on this, but where was this Nikki Bella 10 years ago? Like her promos about Becky have been fantastic. Like
Mm.
if this would have been the Nikki Bella of the past before she became a WWE legend, I just I don't think people would have hated on her the way that they do. I have absolutely loved what she has been doing. She
Yep.
hasn't been flooding her lines. She hasn't been messing up moves and beatdowns. And yeah, her match against Becky probably won't tear the house down. But you're right. I would be, and slap me for saying this, but I would be 100% okay with Nikki Bella winning that belt for a short reign because I have been nothing but impressed by what she's been doing. And part of that is obviously because she's in the ring with Becky. And like you said, Becky with this new short fused character. But I cannot speak highly enough of the work that Nikki Bella has been doing.
Completely agree. I'm so impressed with her, and like it's been such a pleasant surprise because like I know we crapped on her pretty
Oh yeah.
hard, or before this all came to be, but yeah,
Oh,
pleasant.
it's crazy the amount of shit we were talking about her when she first showed up and we were like, "Oh, it's 2025. Who needs Nikki Bella?" And
Right.
I am so happy she's back with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was never even the better of the two sisters. Like
No.
so
Yeah.
she's
And
been
Becky noted that. Yeah.
yeah, and I just like I said, the my level of respect for Nikki Bella is at the highest it's probably ever been.
Yeah. So you had made mention of this before before we fired up the podcast here, but I'll let you speak to Rhea Ripley and Roxanne Perez, and then furthermore the other kind of storyline going on between the Kabuki Warriors, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley. So go ahead.
So obviously before this match started, Io approached Rhea backstage, asked her to basically keep her distance because she wanted to resolve things with her family of the Kabuki Warriors. And conveniently enough, they walked up in the background right as Io gave Rhea a hug. And seeing Asuka losing her mind in the background was pretty entertaining. Not even hearing her yelling in Japanese, you could just hear it in your head. But obviously, the match, Rhea won the match over Roxanne, not surprisingly. Fantastic match. I mean, Roxanne Perez is a future champion, and I have. She probably should have been called up to the main roster sooner than she has. She was, and but she everything she does, there's a reason she's called the Prodigy. I mean, her moves are fantastic for the fact that she's so little, and the work she did with Rhea in there was incredible. But Rhea won, and Raquel and Roxanne jumped her afterwards, only to be rescued by Io. And even though Io wanted to keep her distance, I have a feeling that we're going to end up seeing Io and Rhea as a tag team facing both the Judgment Day and based on the next backstage segment between all of them, probably the Kabuki Warriors, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get a heel turn from Asuka out of this.
Oh yeah, yeah, a
Like
thousand percent.
with the selfish way that Asuka has been acting and basically trying to tell Io who she can and can't be friends with, it's going to lead to a hopefully a singles match between Io and Asuka because I am all for that, and
Yep.
B probably a tag team match between the Kabuki Warriors and Riho or Rio. Sorry, I don't want to confuse them with the AEW wrestler.
The only thing I will say is that the Asuka of old is gone,
Yes.
and unfortunately, that will never come back. And I'm a little saddened by that because I really don't think we'll ever truly get the old Empress of Tomorrow character ever again. And that's a shame because she's incredible. She's one of the
Yep.
best wrestlers on the planet. And I think that's Io now. I think Io has just kind of taken her place as, the top, well, I mean, one of the top women, but also probably the top Asian wrestler in the company.
WWE ruined what they had with Asuka when they had her lose to Charlotte.
Yep.
That's the point where Asuka and the Empress of Tomorrow. I mean, yes, she won won a title down the road, but she lost her new car shine when they had Charlotte go over her for absolutely no reason, and it's a damn shame because they could have had her go on a Goldberg-esque streak and it
Yep.
would have been probably one of the best things in wrestling.
Yep. And then they had her lose to Carmella and what was that? Who's that creepy guy?
James something Ellsworth.
Ellsworth. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They had her lose to him, those two twice as well. Like,
I mean, even recently they had her lose to Jade in the Queen of the Ring finals in that terrible ending.
so embarrassing. I if I were her and Kyrie, I would want to leave. Like, it's just so embarrassing how poorly they're using her.
But I
But
mean, I think that if they get put into a program with Rhea and Io, I think that'll be huge for both Kyrie and Asuka. And obviously, an Asuka versus Rhea match would be fire as well.
oh hell yeah, yeah. I mean, the women's main event for WrestleMania, I feel at this point is pretty much locked in. It's going to be Rhea and Stephanie. Like 1,000%. It's going to be Rhea and Stephanie for the title. Depending on which one of them has it, I don't know at that point, but it's going to be Rhea and Stephanie for the
I
title.
would,
Like
I
I'm
would love for it to be,
calling
I would
it
love
right
for it
now.
to be Julia and Stephanie, but
That won't happen for a very long time. And the way that they're handling Julia is frankly embarrassing. But that's another story. I
hey,
mean,
she's at least been on TV.
it's better than it was, but she needs to be wrestling every week. She's another one who, frankly, she deserves better. She should have went to AEW. But
Julia?
yeah, but that's neither here nor there. So we talked about the Finn Balor AJ Styles match, and then this led us to the main event of Braun Breaker versus LA Knight. As Braun Breaker was making his way through the back area, he was attacked by Roman Reigns, and then once Roman Reigns was sent away, LA Knight came in and kind of beat him down into the arena. So the megastar was able to continue controlling the pace of the match throughout the beginning, and Breaker for the first little while, like never even got a chance to take his shirt off, which was kind of interesting. And then eventually kind of got momentum, and this just turned into a really good, hard-hitting match for a while. Knight was able to hit a really great DDT in the middle of the match to kind of give himself some time to recover. Towards the end of the match, because obviously all of these matches kind of have to end the same way. We're just going to wonder who's going to come out, right? So Seth Rollins showed out, distracted Knight, but never actually got involved, which allowed Braun Breaker, excuse me, to hit two spears to get the win. Then obviously the heels started beating him down, which caused Jey Uso to come out to help fight them off, and then along with CM Punk as well. And then the heels made their way up the entrance ramp when CM Punk and LA Knight started, kind of pushing each other. And then, Punk beat him down a little bit, and then Jay super kicked CM Punk. And Rollins was kind of like giggling at the entrance ramp, basically saying to Braun, look, they're doing it themselves, which all but tells me that Seth is going to retain because there's going to be, the faces are not going to be able to get along.
I mean, so before anything, I love the fact that this match technically didn't start until like 5 or 6 minutes after the two of them started fighting, considering as they fought that much before they even got into the ring. But the obviously, like you said, LA Knight moving to Raw is huge for him because he had pretty much gone through everything he possibly could over on SmackDown. And the opportunities now that he's getting over on Raw, I mean, hell, just being in the main event scene is huge for his character. I
Yep.
I would love to see him win the title at some point, but I feel like he's going to be one of those guys who will always just be one of those like almost there kind of people who
Always a
just never ends
bridesmaid.
up. Yeah. And the match was great, like you said, hard hitting. Not surprised Braun won. I mean, we after losing last week to Jimmy in the Extreme Rules match, or to Jay, sorry, not Jimmy, in the Extreme Rules match, I didn't see them having him lose again. And the
What's that
beatdown,
move called that he does? Is that the Frankensteiner where he
yes, it's
goes
what
up
spot.
and like suplexes,
Yeah.
like jumps up on the second rope and suplexes him? That was incredible.
Oh, he jumps up and it's basically a like a Hurricane Rana from the top rope. It's a
Unbelievable.
it was his dad.
Unbelievable.
Sorry, not his dad. It was his uncle's move. It was Scott's move.
That's a
But
freak nuts move.
oh yeah, and so I think the bigger story, at least for the last couple weeks, is the fact of can these guys coexist to even take Seth down? And just the fracturing of any sort of like alliances that they had. And I mean, Jay snapped and kicked LA Knight because not only did LA Knight shove him, but he kept running into him.
Yeah,
And I think that he super kicked Punk because there was that little backstage segment with Roman and Jay where Roman is like, "You're better than this. Like, what are you so like nervous and confused about? Like, you're better than both of them. Just go out there and take control." And I think that that was Jay taking control. He took
yeah.
out his other opponents who were in the ring. And I don't know, it's not really a heel turn, but I think that it is adds a little bit more edge to his character, similar to what I was talking about earlier in the year about what they needed to do with Sammy, and added a little bit more dangerousness to his character.
Yeah, completely agree. So that was Monday Night Raw. What were your overall thoughts?
There's one other thing that we didn't talk about that I want your thoughts on now that you're back
Sure.
from your vacation. Bailey.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about Bailey's segment. Yeah,
And
that was fun. I loved
who's
that.
her promos over the last couple weeks where she has been steadily going crazier. And like this week where she had like the angel on her shoulder of the old hugger Bailey and the devil on her shoulder of the damage control Bailey.
Yeah,
And
that was a lot of fun. I like
yeah,
that.
I am really curious where they go. And T and I mentioned it last week. It would be really cool to see Bailey become like a Randy Orton type character, like the voices in your head and like ready to snap at any point because of it. I think that would make for a real fun character change for her because I really don't want to see her go full heel. I think
No, I don't either.
somebody who just is can flip back and forth at like the drop of a pin, I think would be really fun. Like she comes out as like, "Oh, I'm super happy go lucky," and then just goes crazy on someone.
I think she's gonna beat the piss out of Lyra, and then I've said this for a while. I think you have too. I think she's going to be the one to take that belt off of Becky. Like
I
that.
think she
That's
needs to be.
Yeah, like that seems like the most likely situation, where we're gonna go with that. It'll probably be at a bigger show. Maybe the WrestlePalooza. No, that's probably too soon.
First,
Maybe, yeah, maybe the Australia show, because that'll probably be a big like 7 or 8 match card, I bet. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, Bailey's I mean, I said this when we did our review way back when of like, the top 5 or top 10 women's wrestlers when we did that like way back in April or whatever. And Bailey was my number one. I think Bailey's incredible.
come
She's been like the rock of this company for a
oh, yeah.
long time.
I think come like December, January, we need to do another top five for both again just to see where they're at for the past year.
Or we should just
And
rewatch that old one to see like what changed.
I still would put Chelsea Green at the top. That her work has been incredible, but I think that and it's the vignette work too by WWE was top of their game for that Bailey segment as well. And I just I just wanted to bring that up because I wanted your thoughts on it since you haven't been here to talk about the spiraling of the role model.
Love Bailey. She's the best. So yeah, so that was Monday
Overall,
Night Raw. Largely a forgettable show, but it wasn't bad, It's like for a go home show for the Paris show that is coming to you guys live this Sunday afternoon at I believe 2 o'clock. It is the last show on the Peacock before you all have to switch to getting a VPN or paying $30 a month for ESPN Plus. So I know we got into that a little bit as well, but yeah, we'll have our predictions for you guys later on this week. We'll look at SmackDown and then football is next week. So we're going to be doing a lot of talking about that. And let's get started. We're going to have, we'll do predictions for you guys every week on where we think it's going to go. We'll give you guys some of our best plays, our best bets. We'll try and get some pre-show stuff. And I don't know how much of that we're going to be able to do. But we will definitely give you guys our predictions every week. We're going to talk about the Bills and do a post game. analysis for that as well. Getting into the Sunday night Bills game on September the 7th, which is coming to you fast and furious. And I believe we have a game next
Thursday.
Wednesday. Wednesday, right?
No, Thursday, I believe we have Philly and Dallas.
I thought it was Wednesday. Maybe you're probably right. Yeah, but Philly and Dallas, I believe, opens
And,
the.
and
Oh, there's a
it's
Friday game. There's the Friday game in Brazil between the Chiefs and the Chargers. That's right.
the nice thing about that Philly Dallas game. It's early enough in the season that Dak isn't hurt, so maybe we'll actually get a good game.
Yeah, I think Philly's going to blow them out. Spoiler: take
Yeah,
Philly and the over in that game. But yeah, so we'll have our picks for you guys for right now. What is a four, soon probably be 5 match card for Clash in Paris. And with that, I've been Mike with 716 Sports Entertainment, joined by my main man, Mr. Torrent Crush, Sean O'Neill. Guys, smash that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate it. And as we mentioned, when we get to 100 subs, which we are getting real close to, we are going to have a giveaway for you guys. And we'll talk soon. Have yourselves a great evening and take care.